What's up, everybody? 2A coming at you today. We got another One Piece video here, and this is going to be about One Piece chapter 1071. And I know this chapter's been talked about, for the past week. I know the scans came out last week, and we got this chapter ahead of time. Everybody's been doing the review, but I had to sit on this chapter for a little bit, and I had to reread it a couple times. And I want to talk about. Let's just put it like this: this chapter is a 10 out of 10. This chapter was amazing. I mean, Kuma being at the red line, Kaku facing Zoro, and all that. All that was really, really cool. And Garp going Blackbeard. But I want to talk about where this is going forward. Because I think there's something really, really important in this chapter that I don't think anybody's really talking about. And I'll get to that in a second. If you guys can, dislike the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, because I'm having more One Piece content coming up. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. If you guys can give me to 1,000 subscribers, everything will be really, really cool. And I'm on my journey there, so it should be really cool and really nice. But yeah, this chapter was absolutely amazing. We got, like I said, Kuma being at the red line. We got Kaku versus Zoro. We got Vegapunk calling somebody to help out with the with CP0, because CP0 seems to have trap the Straw Hats and Vegapunk at this point and destroy all the ships to leave. And there seems to be somebody in there disrupting the security and all that stuff. And I personally think that this has something to do with the mystery person that Vegapunk called. And I personally think that the mystery person that Vegapunk called was a Lunarian. I think there is a Lunarian that Vegapunk has been hiding the entire time, and that's how he did his experiments and was able to recreate the Lunarians along with the Devil Fruit powers and all that stuff. That's what I personally think. Now, who is it? I have no idea. I think it's going to be a brand new character, but I think it has something to do with the Lunarians. And of course, Garp facing, going to Blackbeard and all that. But the most important thing in this chapter, and this is just my opinion, was Kuma showing up to the red line and what I think is going to happen going forward. We got to go back a little bit with this for a second. We got a hint in here earlier in Egghead Island, okay? And in Egghead Island, what we found out was there was this giant robot that the Ancient Kingdom had. And for some reason, during the Fishman Island rites or whatever it was, something triggered inside the robot and was able to, and that robot climbed the red line and started attacking people on Asia. And we found out in this chapter that Vegapunk was still trying to figure out that programming, and basically hasn't cracked the code yet. To me, Vegapunk comes across as a character that stumbles upon things he doesn't realize that he stumbled upon, right? And what I mean by that is like, for example, when he was talking about him recreating the Devil Fruits and all that stuff. When he recreated the Zoan for Kaido, he didn't think he completed it, and he did actually. He was successfully able to duplicate a Zoan type Devil Fruit, but the problem was that it was pink, right? So it wasn't perfect. So when it comes to Kuma, I think Vegapunk, when he was doing this process, figured it out, right? And maybe doesn't think that he fully went through it. Or maybe he does know that he figured out the programming, and Kuma's been like this all along, right? Like, for example, like how Kuma was programmed to protect the Sunny for 2 years, and I personally think that has something to do with Bartolome Kuma and Vegapunk. Once he lost his consciousness, he recreated. He told Kuma to protect the Sunny for whatever reason. And I think there is another program within Kuma, and it's kind of sad to talk about, that I think is going to happen, if not next chapter, the chapter after this. And what I think is going to happen is, I think Bartholomew Kuma is going to have like his Vegeta moment. And what I mean by his Vegeta moment is like Vegeta, when he were facing Majin Buu and all that stuff, and he had his moment with Trunks or whatnot, and he just, he did the monologue and all that stuff, and from there, knocked out Trunks, and then from there, blew himself up and tried to save the Earth, right? What I think is going to happen here is that Kuma was programmed at a certain point, for some reason, to go climb up on the red line and then from there self-detonate in the middle of Marijoa. And if that happens, wow. What a way for that character to go out. And I think there's a big reason with that is because, the Revolutionary Army doesn't like the Marines. Specifically, they don't like the higher-ups, which is the Celestial Dragons, etc. And I think this is a plan that Kuma came up with on his own with Dr. Vegapunk. I don't think this is a plan that Dragon knows about, because to me, Dragon looked at Kuma weird the minute they started, fixing him up and opening up a little bit and trying to get him to act normal. And they were shocked that he was moving and running on his own. And once he did that, he pop-paw fruited himself over to the red line, because when he pop-paw fruited himself, I thought he was going to Egghead. And once he showed up at the red line, I was like, oh. I'm like, why show back up the red line? And the thing is like, it all makes sense, because what'll end up happening is if Kuma does self-detonate at the red line, the Marines shift their attention back to the red line. And pretty much, there's already been a declaration of war declared between the Revolutionary Army and the Marines, but this is like bigger than that. And what'll happen is I think that's what's going to get the Marines away from Egghead, and that's how they're going to get away. Like Vegapunk and all, because the Marines have to go away and protect the Holy Land at that point. And I think Vegapunk is going to reveal this to Bonnie at some point, and I personally think Vegapunk has a message from Kuma himself and is going to show this to Bonnie, and it's going to be very, very heartbreaking. And as the message is being relayed to Bonnie, Kuma is just going to, and that's it. And man, if I'm right on this, man, wow, that's gonna be one hell of a heartfelt chapter. That's why that one's gonna hit harder than usual. And honestly, it might not, if it doesn't go that way, I really don't care. But man, what a way for Oda to send off Kuma if that were the case. And that'd be something. You know what I'm saying? If he's thinking about doing that. But to me, it just makes the most sense. And why he's back at the red line again. And we'll see. But I think that was the chapter was absolutely, Garp going to face Blackbeard and all that. But I think the thing that was the most important thing in this chapter, honestly, was Kuma showing up at the red line, because that's going to be a huge moment. Whatever it is that Kuma does is going to be huge. And I think it's going to hit people differently, and I think it's going to hit a lot. I think it's going to be something crazy, in my opinion. But Garp facing Blackbeard, I think Garp is, personally, I think what we're seeing now is a flashback. And I think Garp already went to the G14 and is probably right at Hachinosu as Law and Blackbeard are battling. And I think Garp is going to intervene. I think at this point, I think once the battle between Garp and Blackbeard happens, I think Garp will die here, which would be a huge moment too, for One Piece and for Luffy and all that stuff. And of course, Blackbeard does it again, right, to Luffy's family, And I think at this point, because there's a lot of speculation that Law is a part of Sword that no one knows about. I still feel that way. I still think that way. I think this is when the reveal will happen, because there's something between Blackbeard, Kobe, and Law, and because they keep talking about the Rocky Port incident. You gotta remember, during the Rocky Port incident, that's how Law became a warlord, and Kobe did something there to get the nickname that he got, the hero of the Rocky Port incident, and that's how Blackbeard became and was able to oust Zhangxi, or I forgot Zhangxi, or I can't remember his name, but he was able to oust him from Hachinosu and become, that's his island now. So yeah, no, this chapter was absolutely amazing. I can't wait to see where this is going moving forward. I think the One Piece, manga story is in a wonderful place at this point in time, and I can't wait to see where this is going moving forward. Anyways, guys, thank you very much. If you guys can, dislike the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel. Of course, we have more One Piece content coming up. Let me know your thoughts about what I think here about the Kuma and him self-detonating. And that's why, he can't be revived or whatever, because this is what he wanted to do. This is what he wants to do. Yeah, just anything else, guys, about Garp and all that stuff, definitely let me know your thoughts down below. Where do you see the story going forward and all that stuff, guys? Keep reading One Piece, and I'll catch you on the next one, okay? Take care. Bye.